You talk about what Geneva did to get here, a 68-67 victory over Robert Barron Academy. A 4 overtime affair, big plays from Nick Thornton as they were able to capitalize and move on to the state championship. 9-2 from their respective district in 6-2A. And then, of course, the Vanguard Vikings, unbelievable effort as they closed out, I wouldn't say an easy win, but definitely coasted to the very end, 67-55 against Abilene Christian High School. Of course, the Vikings 10-0, undefeated in 4-2A. Vanguard coached by Will Curtis. Geneva is coached by Jeff Cruz. And as you can see out there on the court right now, starting lineups being introduced. And I will do that for you. First for the Vanguard Vikings, Daniel Hibbs, as he is being introduced right now, the 6'1 junior, averaging 15.3 points per game. Here is Joe Schwartz, the 6'2 junior, averaging 15.5 points per contest. And Jake Schwartz, the senior, the 5'10 senior, 10.2 points per contest. Jeffrey Bolte, the 5'11 sophomore, 8.1 points per game. And here is Jacob Frisch, the 6'4 sophomore. So there you have it, Hibbs, Schwartz. That is Joe Schwartz, Jake Schwartz, Bolte, and Frisch. Those are the starting 5 for the Vanguard Vikings. And of course, the Vikings, I mentioned, with a couple of sharp shooters in Daniel Hibbs and Joe Schwartz, each at 15.3 points per game and the 15.5 points per game for Joe Schwartz. 28 field goal makes. Let me scratch that. 28 three-pointers for Daniel Hibbs and 40 three-pointers knocked in for Joe Schwartz. Those are impressive numbers, as you'll have to watch out for those two. And then Jake Schwartz with his 10.2 points per game and 32 three-pointers. And Jeff Bolte, I mentioned his 8.1 points per game, better than 53% from the free throw line is Bolte. And then you have Jacob Frisch, 6.9 points per contest. So this is a team that averages 57% from the free throw line and averages 62.5 per game. They are very impressive offensive squad. I mentioned that 10-0, that undefeated mark in 4-2A. Conversely, for the Geneva Eagles, here is their starting lineup as they are announced. Nick Thornton, the senior guard, followed up by Christopher Buddy, the senior, sporting the number 11 jersey. Here is number 12, Cade Leader, the junior guard. How about Jake Martin, wearing number 14, the junior. Here is number 23, the senior Nolan Townsend. And that'll round out the starting 5 for the Eagles. Again, it's Thornton, Buddy, Leader, Martin, and Townsend. As we get set to go for the TAPPS 2A state championship, the girls concluded moments ago with Texoma Christian crowned as the state champion. The Lady Eagles 45-39 over the Geneva Lady Eagles. So both Geneva girls and boys are here this afternoon. Geneva girls unable to come up with the victory, but here are the boys. Geneva in their white jerseys, white shorts with the blue trim down the sides. They have the gold numerals, blue encrusted around those numerals, and then, of course, Eagles across the chest in gold. For Vanguard, the Vikings, green tops, green shorts. And, of course, the white numerals and white encrusted Vanguard across the chest. As I map out the uniforms for you. Our referees tonight, the officials this afternoon, rather, Chris Warford, Larry Harris is the crew chief, and then David Rasmussen. Those are the 3 officials for our state championship game. So Larry Harris will tee it up, and winning the tip-off, Vanguard gets right to it. Closing in, Jake Schwartz lost the handle, and it goes out of bounds. They say last touched by Geneva. That's Cade Leader last touching it. Inbounding it now for Vanguard. Here's Daniel Hibbs. Hibbs gives it right to Schwartz. Joe Schwartz right back to Hibbs, posting up. Two-pointer won't go, and the rebound comes down. And here comes Geneva with their first offensive possession. Nick Thornton behind the back dribble, trying to get around a defender. Throw top key, no, kick it out left wing. Cade Leader. Up top, here is Nick Thornton. Thornton trying to drive to the hoop, up and underneath, goes off the bottom of the rim, and it comes down to Vanguard. Here come the Vikings. Joe Schwartz thought about a shot. Instead, he'll try to muscle into the paint. Throws up a shot that's too far, and coming down with a rebound, here's Nick Thornton. Lost the handle. Vanguard gets it back. Nice save by Jake Schwartz, but when it's all said and done, Geneva will come away with the basketball. Out top, Thornton, right side, three-pointer, up and no good. That one launched by Cade Leader. Rebound comes to Jake Schwartz. Controlling right wing, guarded closely by Leader. Over the head pass, now into the paint. This is Hibbs, back it out, the big post man comes out. I believe that's Frisch. Tries to put up a shot, no good. Rebound comes down. Nick Thornton, the point guard for Geneva. Left-hand dribble across the timeline now. And he is guarded closely by Jake Schwartz. And we have our first foul. And that'll go against Jake Schwartz. First team foul on Vanguard. It'll call for Nick Thornton, right-hand dribble. Gets to the right wing and launches a three, and that one's all net. First bucket of the game goes for Geneva, Nick Thornton. And we have just over 6 minutes left to go here in the first. Trying to go baseline, and I believe we have a charge called. Yes, we do. And that one's on Jeff Bolte. That's two quick team fouls for Vanguard. Nice job inside the paint. Leader trying to keep his feet planted and took the charge. And now Geneva will bring it across the charity stripe, and it's stolen away. Jake Schwartz up and underneath, and the layup is good for Jake. First bucket of the game for Vanguard. It's a 3-2 lead for Geneva. Underneath, Thornton inside the paint, won't go. Off the left side of the iron, and it's picked up by Joe Schwartz. Gives it to Jake, left wing, deep left wing now. Here's Hibbs. Hibbs, top of the key. Now right wing, it's Bolte driving into the paint. Off balance, tried to throw it up just underneath the basket, and it falls out, but a foul is called. I think it's Jake Martin who picked up the foul there. Bolte missing the first, but sinks the second. We have a tie ball game. 3 apiece with 5:25 left to go here in the first. Long pass, and it ends up out of bounds. It will stay Geneva basketball. I believe last touched by Jacob Frisch. Out top, here's Thornton. Nick Thornton launches from right elbow, off front iron. And a rebound picked up by Frisch. Quickly down the court, between the legs dribble for Joe Schwartz. Now it's Hibbs. Hibbs trying to fight at the top of the key. Bounce pass gets stolen away. Taken away by Leader. Here comes Cade. Left wing beyond the arc. Looking to pass it off, and he does, to the low post. And a pass stolen away. Pass from Townsend stolen away. Layup is tipped, and it does not fall through. Joe Schwartz with the breakaway there, and count it. Joe Schwartz, 6'2" junior with his first bucket of the contest, averages 15.5 per game. 5-3. Vanguard in front of Geneva. The Eagles have it. Left side, here's Thornton from beyond the arc. Trying to fight off Jake Schwartz. Go for a three-pointer and too strong. Rebound comes down to the Eagles. Try to put it back up. Fighting hard is Nolan Townsend. And I believe they're going to call a jump ball, possession arrow going the way of the Eagles. So Geneva will inbound. Here is Chris Buddy. Throw the inbounds pass. Looking for Thornton, shakes him off, and now it goes straight in. Here is Townsend, puts up a jumper about 8 feet from the hoop. It's no good. A battle, a scrum for the basketball. Buddy gets tied up with a Viking, and Vanguard will take over. Jake Schwartz inbounds, and he gets it to Joe. Back to Jake, then Joe will bring it across the timeline. Left side. Back to Jake. Working on a defender. Right wing now. Controlling here is Hibbs. Fighting off, and this one goes off a shoe and out of bounds. That one off the foot of Chris Buddy. So it will stay Vanguard ball. We got some substitutions here. Zachary Jonas comes in. Logan Ward as well for Geneva. That's way out top, almost mishandled by Jeff Bolte, but he gets it. Jake Schwartz right near the center court circle will pass off. Here is Daniel Hibbs working into the paint. Jumper at the top of the key, and it's off left side. Here come the Eagles. Thornton driving into the paint, puts up a jumper. This one no good. And fought for the rebound, and our head official, Larry Harris, blows the whistle. We've got a foul. And Joe Schwartz will pick up his first personal. It'll be the third team foul against Vanguard. 5-3 our score. Vanguard out in front. A three-pointer launched by Thornton. No good, but the Eagles snatch the rebound. Goes right back to Thornton. He'll drive in baseline, and he'll hit the tall tree of Jacob Frisch. The ball will sail out of bounds. I think we have a foul here on Mr. Frisch. Yeah, that's going to be against Joe Schwartz. That is his second personal, fourth team foul. And the first free throw for Nick Thornton is up, and it is good. Nick now, with his three-pointer, has 4 points. Lloyd Alcorn checks into the game for Vanguard. Nick Thornton sinks that, make it 5 points on the afternoon. Here's the Vikings. Right wing control. Here's Alcorn. Lloyd, chest pass. He'll get it to Bolte at the top. Left wing controlling now is Jake Schwartz. Gets it underneath the Frisch, who posts up, and he nails it. Soft touch, and it goes around the rim, and it falls through. First points of the afternoon for Jacob Frisch. Underneath, trying to post up. This is Zachary Jonas. Instead, it's passed off. An attempt by Nolan Townsend falls off the left side of the iron, and they're going to say Vanguard basketball, as a foul is called against Zachary Jonas. That'll be his first personal and second team foul for Geneva. Vanguard with the ball, though. Traveling up left side of the court, here's Jake Schwartz. He'll pass it down low. Pops back up to Jake, and he'll drive in, and that is blocked by Jacob Frisch. You're going to see a lot of that here this afternoon as a foul is called. Connor Travis gets called with it, the junior guard in the ball game now, and he gets his first personal and make it 3 team fouls for the Eagles. Left wing, trapped in the corner, trying to work it out is Alcorn. Tries to take a shot. He is stuffed. Good block right there as a shot is put up, and that one is good. Bucket good for Jeff Bolte. He now has 3 with that free throw, and it's a 9-5 lead right now for Vanguard. Ball goes out of bounds, and they're going to say it was last touch by the Eagles. So Vanguard will get the possession, and they lead at 9-5. 2:19 left to go here in the first period of play. Here is Jake Schwartz controlling left side beyond the arc. He loses it. Got to pass off, and this one sails out of bounds. I believe it went off the right knee of Frisch. as the Eagles will have the ball. Checking out of the ball game, Nolan Townsend, as he is replaced by Jake Martin. So Thornton brings it across the center court stripe. Left-hand dribble, trying to work in the paint, up and underneath. Layup is good. Check that travel call, basket no good. So take it away, 9-5. Again, our score just under 2 minutes now. Jake Schwartz, pass right side, Bolte. Underneath the Frisch, miscommunication, and the ball stolen away. Right place, right time was Zachary Jonas. Working underneath now for the Eagles. Bounce pass, and this one is good. Nice little layup and tap off the glass. That one good for Zachary Jonas. First bucket of the game for the sophomore. Working around a defender for Vanguard. Jake Schwartz, he tried to get it to Frisch, and the ball is popped loose. Last touch by Zachary Jonas. And now Jonas, the sophomore, no luck for him. He's 2 fouls very, very quickly here in the early going, 2 personals. Make it 4 team fouls aside for Vanguard and Geneva. Shot put up, no good. Schwartz gets his rebound, and Frisch will have to fight for it. Stolen away, and we're going to have a jump ball. Well, Jake Schwartz might be the smallest player on the court, but boy, does he have a big heart. As he went right after Zachary Jonas, the jump ball possession arrow going the way of Geneva. Eagles being pressured as Alcorn is all the way down court trying to give Thornton some trouble. Thornton stops at the right elbow, passes off, and it's underneath Zachary Jonas trying to put it up, stuffed, and it goes out of bounds, but a foul is called. The 6'4" sophomore Frisch called for his first personal foul, and now it's 5 team fouls for Vanguard. Quickly into Thornton. He'll launch a 3, front iron, and it falls back to an Eagle. And that Eagle is Zachary Jonas. He puts it right off glass and in. 4 points now for the sophomore, and he'll go for an and one here. Jake Schwartz picks up personal foul number 2, and Geneva's one away from the bonus. 6 personal fouls as the free throw is no good for Zachary Jonas. We are tied at 9, folks, between the Vikings and Eagles. Just under a minute. Clock stopped at 59 seconds as a substitution comes in. Connor Travis will take a seat into the game now. Cade Leader. Right-hand dribble across the timeline for the Vikings. Daniel Hibbs will take a jumper, and it's good. First bucket of the afternoon for Daniel Hibbs. 11-9, Vikings lead. Under 40 seconds. Right elbow jumper is good for Nick Thornton. Boy, they're working quickly today, folks. 7 points for Nick Thornton, the senior. He'll have an impact, no doubt, with this great start. Clock now at 23 seconds as Hibbs drives to the paint. And Daniel is fouled hard. Couldn't get the shot off. Our officiating crew will sort it out. No, I'm sorry. No foul on the play. Blocked and out of bounds. Last touch by the Eagles. So the Vikings will inbound. Here's Jake Schwartz. Overhead pass. He gets it into Alcorn. It goes right back to Schwartz. Beyond the arc on the right side. They'll whip it around, though. And it comes back out up top to Bolte. Now left side, Hibbs trying to post up, and wow, fadeaway jumper is good. Daniel Hibbs, 4 points. And Vanguard leads 13-11 as the clock winds down here in the first quarter. So, after our first frame, it's Vanguard with a 2-point lead. They lead at 13-11. We'll step aside for a quick break. We come back, we'll have more of the TAPPS 2A State Championship here on the Legacy Sports Network. Start the second quarter of action here. The state championship here for TAPPS 2A. Vanguard and Geneva. Vikings have a 2-point lead, 13-11. They have the basketball. Left side thought about a three. This is Joe Schwartz. He'll stop and pop about 8 feet from the hoop, and that one is no good. And Eagles move quickly down the floor, trying to look for a pass inside. It's picked off. The Vikings, Alcorn stripped as he went up with it, out of bounds, last touched by Vanguard. Geneva's got it like that. You hear the fans getting involved here as this is a very, very tight contest with just a 2-point lead for Vanguard. Pass out top, Thornton. Left-hand dribble trying to work in on Alcorn. Instead he'll pass off right side, get it underneath. A nice job to follow all the way through with it. It's Jake Martin with his first bucket. And we're tied at 13. Just over 7 minutes here in quarter number 2. Hibbs trying to work in on Jake Martin. I think Martin's going to get called for a foul here. He's a little shaken up. Yeah, it is going to go against Martin. That's his second personal foul. And now for Geneva, they have 16 fouls. Jake Schwartz hands it off. Left side, here's Joe Schwartz for a three-pointer, and that won't go. Fighting for the rebound, and I think may have shuffled his feet and called for a travel. That's always tough when you hit the floor and you're trying to get the ball out of your hands to somebody else. Sometimes you get called with that walk, so tough play on Ben Martinson, who's in the game. The Eagles have the basketball, driving to the paint. That time it was Martin. No good, but he gets his own rebound. Tries to pass it off and stolen away. Alcorn hit from behind, and they're going to call it as a block as it goes out of bounds. Last touched by the Eagles. Well, that was a close one there. Will Curtis having a conversation with Larry Harris right now. So it is just going to be a block and out of bounds, and here's the Vikings with the basketball. Jake Schwartz at the top, now right side, controlling his hips. Trying to move in on a defender. He'll switch to a left-hand dribble and move around the top of the key. Turnaround jumper is no good, but I think Hibbs was fouled. They may get Chris Buddy here for the call. It is against Buddy. Senior will pick up his first personal, and now it's the 16th foul on Geneva. Which means that Daniel Hibbs gets to go to the line. 6'1" junior is a 62% free throw shooter this year. And that's front iron, no good. Tied at 13 here in quarter number 2. 6 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. Substitution. Frisch is back in, and Ben Martinson will check out. Hibbs with his second free throw. It's on the way. Back iron, make it 0 for 2. Hibbs still with 4 points, and we're still tied at 13. Thornton gets it across the timeline. Chest pass goes to Cade Leader. Back to Thornton. Thought about passing off. Instead, he'll drive. Ball goes through the hoop, but I don't think it's going to count. And Nolan Townsend, I believe, is going to get called. Yeah, it's Nolan Townsend gets called for that foul. 17 fouls now for Geneva. Looking underneath that time was Joe Schwartz. Could not find a Viking, and it sails out of bounds. A turnover. Eagles have possession. Clock stopping at 5:52, and will now continue to roll with the inbounds pass to Thornton. Gets past Alcorn. Into the front court. Dishes out, right side, three-pointer. No good. That one taken by Buddy. And the rebound comes to Jacob Frisch. Boy, is he a presence under the basket. Frisch establishing himself in the paint. Vikings will drive. Kick out. Here is Joe Schwartz. Three-pointer. Count it. First three-pointer of the ball game for the Vikings, and Joe Schwartz now has 5. 16-13 lead for Vanguard. Coming the other way, Thornton tries to get the finger roll. Doesn't count, but he's fouled. Check that. That's going to be a charge called, I believe, on Thornton. So Vanguard has it. Left side, long three-pointer for Joe Schwartz, no good. It sails into the hands of Zachary Jonas. He'll hand it off. Here's Logan Ward. Left-hand dribble, trying to find some room. Now he'll dish off. Here's Jonas. Out top, Thornton will reset. Left-hand dribble, gets by Alcorn, feeds it into the paint. Now the ball is loose, and we'll have a jump ball called. Frisch and Jonas. Possession arrow goes the way of the Eagles. And Geneva will keep it. Here's Ward to inbound, the junior, Logan Ward. Chest pass all the way out to Thornton. Nicely done. Thornton tries to whip around Alcorn. He does. Jumper from the right elbow. Count it. Nick Thornton. 9 points for the senior. Behind the back dribble, now back the other way for Jake Schwartz. Out top, Alcorn. Left side, Hibbs with a three-pointer. And it's off the left side of the iron. Backboard, it comes down to the Eagles. Thornton ahead. Right side, cutting in is Ward, and he can't get it to fall off the backboard. Ball is loose. Ward gets it back, trying to fight his way through. Officials blowing whistles. I tell you what, Jeff Cruz is about as animated as I've ever seen. And I think we're going to get a timeout called. That's what happened. Smart play by Ward under the basket to try to call the timeout, and he got it from our officials. It's a 30-second timeout as they rally the troops. What a game so far, though, folks. Stoppage in play. The clock will stop at 4:12. We have a 16-15 advantage. Vanguard has the lead. Right now, leading scorer for the Vikings, it'll be Joe Schwartz with 5, Hibbs with 4. You have Bolte with 3, and a pair of buckets for Schwartz and Frisch. Geneva leading the way is Nick Thornton with his 9. Zachary Jonas has 4, a pair of buckets. And then Jake Martin with a basket as well. Those are the totals as we're now in the second frame. Ward to inbound for the Eagles. Right to Thornton. He'll stop and pop, and that one is true. 11 now for Nick Thornton. Across the timeline here, the Vikings. There's Jake Schwartz trying to work off a screen by Alcorn. He gets it to Alcorn. Underneath, it's wide open. Closes quickly, but he gets it. How about that? Joe Schwartz. A nice feed from Jake, and 7 points now for Joe. The Eagles have it. Three-pointer launched, and Ward won't get it to fall. Vikings have the rebound. Right-hand dribble for Jake Schwartz, trying to muscle his way into the paint. They'll feed it back out top. Here's Joe Schwartz working off a screen set by Frisch. Jumper from the top of the key is off the mark. Rebound comes down. Nice haul in by Jonas, and here are the Eagles. Quickly the other way. Little layup, finger roll good for Cade Leader. (19-18) as Geneva grabs their lead. 3 minutes, 5 seconds left to go here in quarter number 2. Trying to save it from out of bounds. With some scrappy play from Cade Leader. Jake Martin will check out. Nolan Townsend is back into the ball game for Geneva. Right wing, Hibbs will control for Vanguard. Trying to work on an Alcorn screen. He does get some room underneath, but it hits backboard right side of the iron and falls down. Thornton, fast break the other way. Can't get it to fall on the small little layup, but coming up with a rebound is Ward, and he'll put it in. Nice fight by Logan Ward, and he gets his first bucket of the contest. 21-18, Geneva with a 3-point lead. We got 2.5 to go in the first half. Hibbs thought about a shot. He'll pass off to Frisch, and he'll turn it over. Ward trying to fight for it. Alcorn gets the loose ball. Now it's tipped out. Alcorn falls on it, but he falls on it out of bounds, and therefore Geneva basketball. And now you see all the Eagle fans standing up and applauding the tough effort. I see it from both sides. Loose balls, a lot of traffic, a lot of scrums. But when it's all said and done, it's the Eagles' ball. Nice feed underneath. Thornton finds Jonas. Zachary Jonas with 6 points now. And now I believe we have a timeout called by Vanguard. Coach Curtis wants to talk it over with his squad as they have possession. But 5-point lead now as it is opened up for Geneva. And we have a full timeout. 23-18 again our score. The Eagles over the Vikings, and the clock will stop with 2 minutes and 8 seconds. But Nick Thornton and Zachary Jonas both with key contributions and the reason the Eagles have the lead right now. You also have to look at the fiery play, not only from Logan Ward, but Cade Leader getting after loose balls and helping out, because Vanguard, I mentioned coming into today, their district mark undefeated in 4-2A, and that's a tough district. They get that 67-55 win over Abilene Christian. They're a tough opponent because they've got guys like Hibbs and Schwartz who average 15 points a contest, and of course the combination with the big man down low, Jacob Frisch, who already has a bucket here in this game. Some good basketball here from Mansfield, Texas this afternoon. Geneva girls falling in this TAPPS 2A state championship in game one of this doubleheader. 45-39 to Texoma Christian. The Lady Eagles are crowned state champions. But right now we're deciding the fate of the boys 2A state championship. The Vikings have it. Up the top, it's Joe Schwartz trying to work on a screen. He'll give it back to Bolte. Bolte will drive into the paint, kick it out to Alcorn baseline. Alcorn out top to Bolte. Now flings in from the right side and tries to put up a shot, and he's blocked. Foul is going to be called here on Zachary Jonas. That is his third personal. Third personal again for Zach Jonas. And the team fouls now start to stack up 6. Let's check that, make it 9 for the Eagles. First free throw, no good for Bolte. He gets the second one to fall. 3 points make it 2 for 4 now for Jeff Bolte. And then we have substitutions for the Eagles side. And Thornton will bring it up for Geneva. Our score, it's the Eagles 23, the Vikings 19. A minute 38 left to go in the half. Nice post job underneath. Won't get it to fall, but the putback is good for Nolan Townsend. Senior first bucket of the game. Alcorn, did he travel? Yes, he did. Couldn't quite set his feet after he lost the handle. And they're going to call him for a walk, and a turnover gives the ball right back to the Eagles. Thornton will get it cross-court pass and across the timeline as that's Leader. Now down underneath, here's Martin trying to post up, puts up a shot, and he's fouled. Little hip check by Daniel Hibbs right below the basket. It is going to go against Hibbs. Daniel's first personal. Now it's 17 fouls for Vanguard. They're in the bonus. I actually checked that. The Eagles are in the bonus. Both teams are in the bonus. The free throw is knocked in by Jake Martin. He'll have 3 points, his first time to the line this afternoon. 2 of 2, make it 4. That'll add to their lead, 27-19 for Geneva. Just over a minute to go. Vanguard controlling the basketball. Out top, Hibbs. Thought about a 3. Instead, he'll drive into the lane, and he gets the nice hop off rim, backboard, and back down. Key 2 points. Nice effort Make it 6 now for Hibbs as that one falls through. As Nick Thornton knocks one through. Vanguard controls. They lead it by 8, 29-21, 25 seconds to go. They'll hold for the last shot. 13 points for Nick Thornton, the senior. Clock down to 15. Hibbs holds on to it. Now he'll dribble. Right-hand dribble, switches to left, trying to move in on a defender, falls down, and this one, 4 seconds, going to have to put up a shot. Joe Schwartz fires a long three-pointer, and it is short. But that concludes our first half of play. Geneva has the lead, 29-21 over Vanguard. Great first half performances by Daniel Hibbs, Joe Schwartz for the Vikings, and for the Eagles, Nick Thornton and Zach Jonas. We'll step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll have the second half. Once again, score at the break, 29-21, Geneva over Vanguard. You're listening to the TAPPS 2A State Championship here on Legacy Sports Network. Thornton will bring it across the timeline now, guarded by Jake Schwartz. Reverse move there, work from the side of the paint, and he'll get it to go. Make it 15 for Thornton. Lead is now open to 9 for Geneva. Jake called for a screen, said Hibbs comes out top. Now rotate it right wing, driving to the paint. Bolte, he's stripped as he tries to go up to the hoop by Townsend. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Vanguard. 6:10 left to go here in the third. Inbounds pass comes to Schwartz. Right wing beyond the arc. They'll feed it right back to Joe Schwartz. Tries for a turnaround jumper. No, instead he'll pass off Hibbs for 3. Front iron no good. Rebound coming down. And it's Townsend who hauls it in. Thornton quickly up court, trying to find an open shooter. He does instead. But he decides not to take the shot. Kicks back to Thornton, now left elbow for a jumper. This one hits back iron, no good. Shot taken by Townsend. And the rebound pulled down by Vanguard. Jake Schwartz, left wing beyond the arc. Deep left wing, here is Joe. Back to Jake, and Jake Schwartz will drive and find the opportunity and nail it home. Layup is good off the backboard for Jake Schwartz. Make it 6 this afternoon for the senior. Eagles slow it down here at the clock at 5:10, 34-27. The lead for Geneva. Stopping and popping, no good for Chris Buddy. And the rebound comes down to Hibbs. He'll get it to Frisch. And here's Jake Schwartz with it again. Had the bucket the Vikings' previous time down the floor. Hibbs has it, guarded closely by Leader. He'll give it to Schwartz out top. Thought about a 3, did Bolt. He has trouble with it, trying to go in and stripped. Well, that has happened quite a bit. This Geneva defense clamping down in the paint, stripping basketballs. And Thornton will bring it across. Into the paint. Oh, tried to go up and under. What a move, but couldn't get it. Right-hand dribble. Hibbs working quickly, trying to go baseline. No, he'll stop short. Come up through the paint. Front iron jumper is no good. Rather, the jumper hits front iron, and it is no good. And Joe Schwartz will pick up his third personal. And then we get our first team foul here in the second half. Townsend comes off the floor, replacing Townsend, Zach Jonas. We see Bolte come off the floor for Vanguard, and Lloyd Alcorn is now in the ballgame. So there it is, Thornton. The point guard for the Eagles, trying to work in on Alcorn. Left side pass, nice little screen, and a three-pointer launch, no good for Leader. Alcorn with a rebound. Here's Schwartz with a right-hand dribble at the top of the key. Left side, here's a launch for Joe Schwartz. Three-pointer's good. Second three-pointer for Joe. 10 points for the junior. It's 34-30 score. 4-point lead for Geneva, and yep, Zachary Jonas stepped out of bounds trying to pivot and move underneath the hoop. Clock at 3:40 and counting here in the third. Here is Schwartz trying to work around a defender. He stops at the right elbow. Out top to Joe. And he'll give it back to Jake. Left side. Here's Hibbs trying to work in on a defender, and he'll knock down Ward. And that ball goes off, I believe, of Hibbs and out of bounds, so it will be Geneva ball. We get a 4-point lead for the Eagles. It's 34-30. Time at 3:15 here in the third. Thornton trying to weave his way around the defense. They'll kick it left wing beyond the arc, and losing it is Leader, and it's picked up by Jake Schwartz, and now a foul is called. We'll see what the infraction is. And Jake Schwartz will be called with his third personal. Both Schwartzes with 3 personal fouls. So going to really be cautious throughout the next 11 minutes of play. As the clock is right at 3 minutes here in the third. Right in front of the 3-point line. Good step, good shot, and it's going to fall through for Cade Leader. 6 points for the junior guard. Right wing now for Vanguard. Alcorn, deep right wing. Joe Schwartz wants another 3, and he won't get it. The rebound tracked down by Martin, and the Eagles will bring it back the other way. Left side here is Ward, trying to get it underneath. He feeds it into the paint. Martin goes up strong and gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2. And Hibbs picks up his second personal. Mark at 3 team fouls now for Vanguard as Martin goes to the line here for the Eagles. 4 points already, make it 5, as he is now a perfect 3 for 3 for the charity stripe. That one falls short, tried to go after the rebound. I think we had a lane violation there, so scrap it. 3 of 4 for Martin, and it pushes the Geneva lead to 7. It's 37-30, 2:24 and counting here in frame number 3 as this ball is stolen away and picked up. Calm, cool, collected. Cade Leader knocks it in. Nice little soft touch off the glass, and it's 8 points for the junior. 9-point lead now for Geneva, and right back the other way, Frisch. Frisch with 6. Make it 7 now. The advantage for Geneva. Long cross-court pass to Ward. Trying to get it underneath. This one is tapped loose, and now a scrum, and it comes up with Jake Schwartz having the basketball. Now play a stop, a foul called. And that's going to go against Logan Ward. That's his first personal foul. And for Geneva, that's their first team foul of the second half. 3 team fouls for Vanguard. As now we have Nolan Townsend checking in for Jake Martin. And Jake Schwartz inbounds for the Vikings to Alcorn, and now back into the hands of the point guard for Vanguard. Schwartz trying to pass it inside to Frisch, who gets position but can't get the soft little finger roll to fall, and now he's batted around, looked like a pinball inside the paint. And Logan Ward picks up quickly personal foul number 2. He's going to come off the floor. Checking in will be Chris Buddy. Chris has 1 personal. And Jake Schwartz will inbound to Joe. Back to Jake. Trying to work in on Cade Leader. Does find room in the paint, but he'll kick it out to Hibbs. 3-pointer on the way, no good. Nice rebound by Alcorn, and he'll shovel it up to the basket. Rebound picked up by Joe Schwartz. Strong second half for Joe. 12 points. He's had 5 here in the second half. Weaving his way through, and Thornton in and out, no good. Coming up with a rebound, then knocked down And they're going to say last touched by the big man. That is Zach Jonas, the sophomore, Zach Jonas. A minute to go here in the third. 5-point lead for the Eagles, 39-34. Left elbow jumper, count it for Daniel Hibbs. 6 in the first half. There's his first bucket of the second half, the 6'1 junior. 3-point lead now for Geneva, and a three-pointer launched by Cade Leader that's no good. Tracking it down, though. Nice effort by Buddy. Right back, Leader again, back iron, and it won't fall, but I think we get some over the back call. Yeah, we do. Zachary Jonas. That is his 4th personal foul, and you know that Coach Cruz has got to be cautious, and he will take him off the floor. Townsend will be in for Zach Jonas. 27 seconds left to go in the third. More than likely, Vanguard will hold for the last shot. Jake Schwartz, pass off to Hibbs. Now out top, here's Joe Schwartz. Looking for that screen. Clock down to 10 seconds. Jake Schwartz working off a screen by Joe. Left elbow jumper, and that is good. How did he get that off? Clock down to 2, 1, and that'll do it for the third. Jake Schwartz, folks, 8 points, 6 of them coming in the second half. We finished the third frame. We'll head to the fourth. Once again, your score 39-38. Geneva with a 1-point lead. Come back for the fourth quarter here. This TAPPS 2A state championship as you're watching it here on the Legacy Sports Network. Head out of the fourth quarter. The Eagles will start out with the rock and with the lead. They have a 1-point lead, 39-38, as we open it up here. The final frame of play in the TAPPS 2A state championship. Ryan Mueller providing the play-by-play. Your cameraman, Jake Craig. Glad to bring this one to you. The Eagles fight for it, trying to dig it out of the corner. Underneath, posting up and trying to take a shot. Fouled from behind. That's Nolan Townsend, who's going to have to pick up the slack here with Zachary Jonas and his 4 personals. Ben Martinson picks up the foul. That is his first personal. 4 team fouls for Vanguard, and it sends Townsend to the line. First time. He'll be at the charity stripe this afternoon. First one is true for Townsend. Leading scorers to this point. Joe Schwartz has 12 for Vanguard. The second one is good. That's 4 points now for Townsend as he's 2 of 2. 15 for Nick Thornton for Geneva. Those are the point leaders for both teams. We're now at 7:25 left to go and a 3-point lead for the Eagles, 41-38. Right side, launching a 3, Joe Schwartz, but just not enough as it falls and the rebound comes to the Eagles. Nick Thornton, heavy pressure by Alcorn as he gets it across the timeline, and I think Lloyd's going to pick up his first personal. Well, they say that it's against Jeff Bolte, and that would be his second I thought for sure that was called against Lloyd Alcorn, but we'll go with the official score. And it'll be charged to Bolte. Second personal on the 5'11 sophomore. So Thornton will control out top for the Eagles. Right side, here's Leader. Tight defense by Jake Schwartz, but Leader does find his way into the paint, trying to hand it off to Townsend. And that'll be a turnover. Not sure if Nolan set his feet there. It was called for a walk, but either way, it's Vanguard basketball. Jake Schwartz working quickly, trying to hand off to Hibbs, and the plan has been foiled. Working off a screen from Joe. Jake will control. Out top to Hibbs. Really trying to work the paint here. See if they can get it down inside. Going baseline. Joe got it stripped. His pocket was picked. Nolan Townsend, nice effort on the steal. Leader will control. Left wing. Now right elbow. And they'll kick it right back out to Leader. Wants a three-pointer. He'll take it and nail it. Cade Leader. Looking good from beyond the arc there. 11 points for Leader. And a timeout's going to be called. Vanguard going to regroup here as our score. It's 44-38. Eagles with the advantage. We've got 5 minutes, 56 seconds left to go here in the contest. Remember that in foul trouble right now, Zach Jonas, Geneva's been able to hold their own without their big man. But you do give Nolan Townsend some credit. He's been trying to hold his own underneath the basket. Jonas this afternoon, 6 points, but he's got those 4 personals that are keeping him from being in the game. We'll see what Coach Cruz does coming out of the huddle, if he'll insert him back in. But Vanguard comes back out in foul trouble for the Vikings. Schwartz, that's Joe Schwartz, 3. Jake Schwartz with 3 as well. Vikings on the floor. You have Alcorn, Frisch, Hibbs, Joe Schwartz, and Jake Schwartz. Geneva, you have Leader, Martin, Thornton, Townsend, and Chris Buddy. Right side here is Jake Schwartz for the Vikings. Trying to work in on Cade Leader. Instead, he'll kick it back out. Left wing, driving now. Here's Joe Schwartz, loses it. But are we going to get a jump ball or a foul? Larry Harris calls a foul. And I think that's going to go against Joe Schwartz, excuse me. And that is threatening for the 6'2 junior. He now has 4 personals. Bit of foul trouble, and it puts Nolan Townsend at the line as this will be a 1-and-1. And he won't sink the first one. But nice rebound, turnaround jumper, no good for Martin. 2 of 3 now is Nolan Townsend. 44-38, the Eagles with the lead. 5:17 and counting here in the fourth. Vanguard trying to fight their way back. Hibbs, right elbow jumper is good. I don't even know if he looked at the basket. What an excellent effort. 10 points for Daniel Hibbs. Ball trickles out of bounds, and they're going to say it was last touched by a Viking player, and we got a foul. Jake Schwartz now in foul trouble as he has got 4. No good. 2 of 4 now. And a foul called quickly. And Nolan Townsend picks up his second personal foul. It'll be 14 fouls for Geneva, and Vanguard has the rock. They trail by 4, or just under 5 minutes left to go in the game. Joe Schwartz wants a 3, and it won't fall. And a rebound picked up by Leader. He'll get it out to Thornton. Thornton trying to drive in on Alcorn. That's been an interesting matchup all afternoon with Lloyd Alcorn's tight defense. Instead, slowing it down, Cade Leader. His 4-point lead, try to go after a smart shot. As this is Buddy. Thornton will slow it down, trying to get on Alcorn. Top of the key, jumper is good. Impressive, to say the least, for Nick Thornton. 17 points for the senior. Clock now at 4 minutes, and it's a 6-point lead for the Eagles, 46-40. Trying to go baseline, Alcorn couldn't do it. Scrum for the basketball, picked up by Townsend, and he finds Thornton. Long pass to Martin, who feeds it. Can't pick it up, Leader, and Townsend follows through. How about that? Martin to Leader to Townsend, and Townsend puts it home. Nolan with 6 points now, and it pads the lead for Geneva. They lead it by 8. It's 48-40. Clock will stop at 3 minutes and 44 seconds, and I believe a timeout has been called on the floor. But what can you say about this offensive explosion from a team that, boy, willed their way to victory in the semifinal game against Boerne Academy, 68-67, that took 4 overtimes with some great play, not only by Nick Thornton, but Jake Martin. Both had impressive campaigns there in the semifinal game. And they have definitely earned their right to be here. For Vanguard, though, the 67-55 victory over Abilene Christian certainly had momentum, and coming in here, they have had some great play from Joe Schwartz and Jake Schwartz, but right now, those two gentlemen are in foul trouble. 4 personals aside, and you're going to find both of them on the court. That, I mean, you have to. If you're Coach Curtis, you have to have 2 of your best scorers on the floor when you're down by 8. It's got to happen that way. So the Vikings will have the ball, and Jake Schwartz will move it left side. Out top to Joe. Underneath, whip pass, and this one is good. Count it, and the foul. Daniel Hibbs. 12 points for Hibbs, and he'll go to the line. Lots of action under the basket. Alcorn tries to go after it, and more than likely going to have a trip to the line here, as obviously the free throw no good. First one misses for Alcorn. Does not have a point here this afternoon. The sophomore trying to get on the board and pull his team within 5. And won't do it. 0 for 2 is Alcorn. 48-42. Eagles with the lead in the ball, and we have 3 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in the game. This TAPPS 2A state championship. Thornton way out top, trying to work on Alcorn. Instead, he'll pass it off to Leader. Going to wind down some of this clock. It's a good strategy, considering that time is on the side of the Eagles. Thornton get chased by Schwartz and Alcorn, so they'll pass it off to Leader. Back to Thornton. Weaving his way through traffic, finds an open lane, and can't nail home the layup, and it'll be a turnover. Schwartz finds Joe underneath. Nice look by Jake Schwartz to find Joe, and that's 2. 14 points for Joe Schwartz, and the Vikings pull within 4. And now it's Geneva's turn to call a timeout. Coach Cruz wants to talk it over. Smart play. With 2.5 to go and a 4-point lead, got to talk about what offensive play you want to draw up here because you've got some hot hands if you are the Eagles. Nick Thornton, a heck of a night. $17 points for the senior. Second in line, though, is Cade Leader with 11. So those two gentlemen have been a real spark plug offensively for the Eagles. So they're going to try to draw up a play here to extend this lead. Once again, it's 48-44. Vanguard led early, then Geneva took over, and they have since not looked back. Our score at the break was, and I say break at the half, was 29-21. Geneva over Vanguard. Now we sit here, and the Eagles have a 4-point lead. Vikings, as I mentioned, the hot hand has been Joe Schwartz with his 14 points. And then you have Daniel Hibbs with 12. But again, both of the Schwartzes are in foul trouble. As this one is stolen away, I think they're going to call a foul as Nick Thornton was hammered and clobbered upon it, and he is down on the floor. Finally gets up. So Thornton will go to the line. The foul goes against Lloyd Alcorn. His first personal. Thornton is 2 for 2, make it 3 of 3 as the 1-and-1. The front end is good. Clock stopping at 2:24. And he is nails. Thornton a perfect 4 for 4, and that adds to the lead. It's back up to 6 now for Geneva, 50-44. Schwartz, how about it? Joe Schwartz with another three-pointer. That's his 3rd of the game. And it pulls Vanguard within 3. Clock right at 2 minutes as this is a whip pass underneath. Nice bounce pass. And count it. No. Nolan Townsend went too strong. And they're not going to count it. Vanguard back the other way. Jake Schwartz off the glass. No good. Martin with the rebound, but Jake keeps fighting. And we'll see what happens here if Jake is going to get this foul. Yeah, it is going to be Jake Schwartz's final walk off the court. He is fouled out. The 5'10 senior closes out his afternoon with 8 points. And he doesn't want to come out of the game, and I don't blame him. Vikings point guard has fouled out, and now it will cause for a check-in. And coming into the ball game, here is Jeff Bolte. Front end of the 1-and-1 is good for Jake Martin. Second one good as well. 5 of 6 from the line is Martin, and he's got 7 points. A 5-point lead for Geneva. Schwartz, 1 of the 3, couldn't get it. Rebound coming down. Nick Thornton, 1:35 left to go. Left side, he'll work it to Leader. Be very careful with the basketball are the Eagles because they've got this lead, 52-47. And now a foul called is coming whipping around on the backside of Chris Buddy. Jeff Bolte's going to get called for a foul here. That's his 3rd personal. And it finds Chris Buddy at the line. And his first free throw is good. It's the first time Buddy's been to the line this afternoon, and that is his first point of the contest. Second one no good, and a fight for the ball, and I think we have a jump ball. No, it's going to be a foul call. And Jake Martin will get his second personal foul. And Joe Schwartz will go to the line as Vanguard now in a 1-on-1 situation. This is good for the Vikings. Clock will stop and a chance to get points. And it won't fall through for Joe Schwartz. First time at the line here today. Thornton past the leader. 1:10 now. Back out top to leader. Again, the Eagles lead 53-47. And the clock will stop at 1:05, and Larry Harris, our head referee, is going to call a foul against Jeffrey Bolte. That'll be his fourth personal foul. Double bonus time. And Chris Buddy sinks it. Second free throw is good. 3 of 3 and 3 points for Chris Buddy, the senior. It's now an 8-point lead for Geneva. Hibbs' shot no good. Fight for the rebound. Hibbs has it, trying to go up, and he does strong and gets it to fall off glass and in through the hoop. And now Chris Buddy struggling to get up. Training staff will have to attend to him. Hope he's okay. Hibbs went up strong. And Coach Cruz will help off his senior guard. Have to get a substitution here for the final 51 seconds. But that's where the clock stops. 51.6 seconds. A 6-point lead right now for the Geneva Eagles. 55-49 is timeout, obviously, called after the injury to Chris Buddy. Do hope he's all right. So the Eagles coming out of the timeout will have the basketball and the 6-point lead. So the communication with Coach Cruz is to take care of the basketball. Conversely, if you're Vanguard, Will Curtis having a conversation of, hey, claw, scrape, do anything you can to force a turnover, and let's get it down on the other end of the floor and score. That is your only option with 51 seconds and being down by 6. Either way, it's been one heck of a ball game. So Martin will inbound to Thornton, and Nick will bring it up the floor. Long pass, here is Leader, and they'll get it back to Thornton. The Eagles will find their comfort zone with the basketball. Alcorn trying to go after a steal. And here it is to Leader. Clock is at 35. And they're going to foul Nick Thornton and make him go to the line. It's bad news Bears, though, because Thornton is a perfect 4 for 4. And his first one automatic yet again. Can't get a steal. That's the only thing you can do is foul. Try to get the ball back and hope that Thornton would miss his free throws, but he doesn't. Perfect 6 for 6, Nick Thornton. 25 seconds left to go, 57-49 our score, with Geneva out in front, and Vanguard will turn it over. Nick Thornton gets fouled from behind. And Geneva fans, you can hear them so close to a victory here as the clock stops with 19.3 seconds. And it puts Nick Thornton at the line. First one is good. "23 points on the afternoon for Mr. Nick Thornton. 15 seconds. Joe Schwartz launching a three, and that's off the side of the iron. Another chance for Bolte, and it's no good. 8 seconds. Now 7. Thought about launching it. Instead, he'll just dribble it out. Nick Thornton, countdown to 1, and that will do it. The Geneva Eagles are your TAPPS 2A state champions. What a ride for Coach Cruz and his squad. After the 4 overtime victory yesterday, the Eagles have it. They have the state championship. Final score, it's the Eagles 59 and the Vanguard Vikings 49. 10-point victory, hard fought, and the Eagles are your state champs. Nick Thornton finishes the afternoon with 23 points. He led the way. Next in line, it was Cade Leader. 11 points for the junior. You had Zach Jonas with 6, but he got into foul trouble, had to come out of the ball game. Nolan Townsend with 6. Jake Martin finished the night with 7. And then you had a bucket for Logan Ward and count 3 free throws for Chris Buddy. And those are the point totals for the Geneva Eagles. For Vanguard, 14 points for Daniel Hibbs. 17 for Joe Schwartz, and he led the way. 8 points for Jake. 4 points for Jeff Bolte, and make it 6 for Jake Frisch. There you have it, folks. Those are the numbers for this state championship game. And, of course, momentarily we will have the presentation of the all-tournament team. We'll have medals to be handed out. And, of course, the state championship trophy will be given to the Geneva Eagles.
Here to present the medals for the all-tournament team is Mr. Bob Gerhardt of the TAPPS Executive Board. When I call your name, please come forward if you are in the building. First off, from Houston Boerne Academy, senior forward number 21, Zach Yosher. And also senior guard number 3, Albert Katz. And now to Abilene Christian School, sophomore guard number 1, Cassius Lyons. Also from Abilene Christian School, sophomore guard number 32, Nick Murray. And now on to the players from today's game. First, from Vanguard, senior guard number 12, Jake Schwartz. From Geneva School, senior forward number 23, Nolan Townsend. junior forward, number 10, Joe Schwartz. From Geneva, junior forward, number 14, Jake Martin. From Vanguard, junior guard, number 5, Daniel Hibbs. And from Geneva, senior guard, number 3, Nick Thornton. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for your 2012, 2013 Class 2A All-American. And now, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will be presenting the runner-up and championship trophies. Here to present the championship trophy is Mr. Bryce Helton from the Athletic Executive Committee. I'd like to call up at this time Vanguard head coach Bill Curtis and assistants Zach Super and Mamadou Dieni, and the 2012-2013 Vanguard Vikings, the Class 2A state winner. Congratulations to our outstanding season. And at this time, Coach Curtis will help distribute the medals to the members of the Vanguard squad. First off, number 5, Daniel Hibbs. Number 10, Joe Schwartz. Number 11, Barrett Robinson. Number 12, Jake Schwartz. Number 13, Clark Center. Number 21, Ben Martinson. Number 23, Andrew Maston. Number 24, Adnan Razak. Number 34, Jeffrey Bolte. Number 44, Lloyd Alcorn. Number 50, J.R. Ayers. And number 55, Jacob Frisch. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2012-2013 Class 2A state runner-up, the Waco Vanguard Vikings. will present the championship trophy. Mr. Bob Gerhardt from the executive board will present the championship trophy to head coach Jeff Cruz. And at this time, Coach Cruz and Coach Perez will help distribute the medals to the members of the Eagles squad. Please come forward as I call your name out. Number 2, Zachary Greenlees. Number 3, Nick Thornton. Number 5, Connor Travis. Number 11, Christopher Buddy. Number 12, Kate Leader. Number 13, Matt Blackburn. Number 14, Jake Martin. Number 15, Brandon Barrett. Number 21, Brian Cook. Number 22, Logan Ward. Number 23, Nolan Townsend. Number 24, Houston Smith. And number 25, Zachary Jonas. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2012, 2013 Boys Class 2A State Champions, the Geneva School Eagles. On behalf of the Texas Association of Private Parochial Schools and the Mansfield Independent School District, we thank everybody who attended this weekend's state championship games. We ask that everybody please drive home safely. This has been your game announcer, Mike Weber, saying, have a great weekend, everybody.
Well, that'll do it for us. Congratulations again to the Vanguard Vikings on a wonderful season. And congratulations once again to the Geneva Eagles on being the TAPPS 2A state champions. Once again, our final score here from Lake Ridge High School. It's Geneva 59, Vanguard 49, and the Eagles have been crowned the state champs. But for Jay Craig, I'm Ryan Mueller. For all of us here at Lake Ridge High School in Mansfield, thank you so much for watching. And come back soon here on the Legacy Sports Network.